So guys, Sheffield United. So as we were saying, difficult game last year twice. Same manager, pretty much similar sort of squad. They haven't really lost anybody. They've made some good additions. Woodburn, who's a talented player, on loan from Liverpool, left winger. Henderson, who's a highly rated keeper. And obviously they've got a journeyman there in McGoldrick on a free. Would he have been someone that could have come to Boro? Would he have improved the Boro? I don't know. In the current situation that we're in now, I would take anyone with a pulse. So, what do we expect from them tomorrow night? Pretty much tight game, 3-5-2. What I've noticed with Sheffield United quite a lot is that they like to push on. The full-backs don't half get into the opposition's third. Baldock on one side and Ender on the other side. And they really don't half push up. And what I noticed on Saturday against Swansea especially is there's a lot of area behind them to exploit. Now, they are sort of things that with the Traore in the team, we would have loved that bit of space behind. I don't know how it might work tomorrow night with the team that he might set up, especially if it's anything like the team that started against Millwall. There's no pace in that team. There's plenty of pacemakers, but there's no pace in that midfield, really. So, can we exploit them? I don't know. I think they'll come, they'll make it hard, they'll make it tight. They do every season with us. Yes, they got beat against Swansea on Saturday, but I don't really know if that's maybe the start of whether their expectations are a little bit higher and maybe they've gone into the game thinking that they're going to start the way they did last year. Also, the fans, a little bit like with Millwall on Saturday, there's a lot of expectancy from that team. So the bubble's been burst a bit, that kind of little bit of optimism. It's hard to kind of recreate that energy when you know that people are expecting a result against the better teams. I think it'll be tight. I think it'll be tough. I really rate Chris Wilder. The one thing also that I've noticed about them is that the midfield three, Fleck, Lundstram and Evans. Lundstram's kind of your holding midfielder, but he does like to get forward. They're very neat around the box. They get runners in, they get people forward, which is something as a Boro team we don't seem to have much of, is people making deep runs and being on the edge of the area for those balls to get cut back. Saturday, kind of a little bit when Tav and Wing came on, there was a little bit more of that. People getting to the byline slightly, but it's something that Sheffield United really do sort of work hard at. It's something that's part of their kind of their makeup. They did it a lot last season. Like I say, Baldock hasn't always been a defensive, hasn't always been a fullback. He's played midfield quite a lot, but they will push up high. They might exploit it, as I've just said, a little bit more because they know we haven't got the pace to get in behind. And also we like to sit deep a lot and bring teams onto us, which works fine when you've got rocket boots in your team, but we won't have him in our team tomorrow night. So, all that being said, for me, we're going to look to kind of, I would say, break them down through the middle because Evans and Fleck like to get forward. On Saturday, they're very sort of neat around the box. The goal that they scored was very neat passing, very sort of quick one-touch football, very compact. So is that something we can exploit? For me, I think we've got more chance of scoring through the middle than we have out wide. But again, it might come down to set pieces, I think. I think that'll be a very tight game. I think there'll be 1 or 2 goals in it. Probably 1-1, maybe 1-0. I'm not really wanting to put myself on the fence and say that we're going to get beat, although I have mentioned earlier in another show that I think we probably won't get anything out of the game. But that's just being sort of like erring on the negative side. Also, for me, what I've noticed with Sheffield United is that the midfield too, as I've said there, do like to get forward, and there's always a lot of space between the two or the 3 centre-backs as they have it when they play 3-5-2 and the midfield. So again, if we can get people floating in between that area, if Howson plays in an attacking midfield role, it'd be nice to see sort of him floating around in between the 2 centre midfielders and in front of the centre-backs. That's the only probable way for me that we're going to find a way through this team. Yes, they're not the Sheffield United, I don't think, of last season, and yes, they've started the league campaign with a defeat, whereas last year they never. But they came to Boro and got beaten. It didn't sort of hold them back. They still went on a really good run. McCabe hasn't really backed that team again this season. Speaking to a lot of Sheffield United fans last year and looking on the forums, that was one thing they were really wanting this year, was McCabe to back them and go out and bust the bank and build on what a great season they had last year. They've got a brilliant manager in Wilder, really rated really highly, very rated highly in football. English manager, up-and-coming manager. Is he somebody that can go on to pastures new and manage a bigger club? Well, the one thing that we've seen last season, Boro fans, with Gary Monk is, although he looked half decent, as soon as you gave him money to spend, he kind of capitulated. And I don't know whether that might be the same story with Wilder. Again, that's not something that we've seen because he hasn't had the money to spend. But as a guy who wants to work with a squad and improve his players, he's certainly done that. So, prediction, like I say, well, what do you think, Rob? Because I'm still between 1-0 and 1-1, but and that's the Sheffield United, both results. So,
I think 1-0. Sheffield United, mate.
1-0 Sheffield United. Now, to be fair, Rob last season, he got a lot of predictions right, but he's already got the Millwall one wrong, which is he'd be happy to say he was glad about.
still a draw. I said
Still-
0-0, didn't I?
He did. I kind of might have said 1-0 as well, like, but
No, you said
I said 1-1.
I said 0-0.
Fair enough. So we've got that wrong, but obviously we've got the result right. Sheffield United, I'm going to go 1-1, and like I say, I'm being really optimistic saying that though. I kind of do think it's going to be a really tough game if that team starts. And obviously, as we know, Boro fans, there's not exactly. The players aren't queuing up to join us either, so I can't see there being a massive change for tomorrow in personnel. I'd like to think he may start Wing and Chapman. Tav, I don't know, he's maybe not as fit as he needs to be. He hasn't played all pre-season with England, he's come off the bench a lot. So, but Wing and Chapman, I'd like to think that they've earned a chance to start. So I'm going to say 1-1 Boro. But listen, guys, it's all about you. Please get in touch. Whenever the shows are, whoever it is, we need your comments, we need your conversations. Without you guys, we're nothing. So get behind the team tomorrow, no matter what you feel. Let's not be negative throughout the 90 minutes, guys. Let's just give them everything we've got. If we're still unhappy at the end of it, that's when you show your feelings, when the whistle's blown, 95th minute. So, like I say, this has been a preview show. I've been Foxy. That's been Roberto. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Peace out. It's in the blood. Whoever you are, wherever you are. Up the Boro.